Hey, my name is Jordan Pellegrino. I'm the driver of the 98 GenRight Rockstar Ultra 4 car.
So for the last couple of years, I've stepped back out of the race car and really promoted Jordan to be our main racer. Jordan's very talented. He's driving a cutting edge car. We've had to work through a lot of technical issues on that because we're pushing that envelope. Now that's all stable and good to go. So really gives me an opportunity to do something like this where I take the Terremoto and get the race suit back on and get out there to have some fun.
I think it's badass. I think it's awesome that he's racing Terremoto this year. Everyone knows that Jeep can do it. You know, it's already done all the trails. We use it every single year to pre-run the desert and the rocks. It's there, you know. It's never been in the race. So it's gonna be really cool to have him hopefully back behind me on race day.
What sets GenRight apart from all the other companies out there is that we live, eat, and breathe this. And us racing is also an accelerated R&D platform. So it really helps us set a different standard for all the parts we produce and what we offer the customers. The Terremoto actually started as kind of a customer build actually. And then that build ended up kind of falling out. So I took it and built it up. We just said, okay, let's finish it. Somebody will buy it. Once it was done, I realized how good it was. And at the time, you know, my YJ was kind of aging out and it really worked out pretty good, and having the 4 seats was super handy. The big reason I wanted to put Terremoto in the race was this is a great way to show the public how durable our product is, especially, you know, what we make for the JK, not only our elite suspension, but our roll cage, our fenders, our bumpers, all that stuff. It's just a great platform to do it. For people who haven't seen King of the Hammers, this is the Super Bowl or Indy 500 of off-road racing. This is it. If this doesn't inspire you to know what's possible with your Jeep, I don't know what's gonna. I know for Jordan, this year we are 100% better than last year with regard to his car, his ability to drive the car. You know, he's got additional seat time. You know, we've just had a whole year of working on the car, and I'm really excited for him. This could really be his year.
Literally nothing is the same on this car since last year. We've made a lot of changes to our whole differential setup. So diffs are dialed, portals are dialed. Everything that at some point somebody was like, I don't know if this is gonna work, we've gotten it to work, and we're really not worried about it anymore. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with the old tried and true solid axle setup. You know, they work, they're durable. Those things are built like tanks, you know. It really was hard for us to make that change. It was hard to decide, like, okay, we've done this, we know this works for the last 10 years, you know, 15 years, and we're gonna invest in something that we have no idea if it's even gonna work. But we made it happen, and you know, we're finally getting the bugs worked out. None of us had ever worked on or been around anything like this, so it was really huge to get it to the point where it is today. You can pick a lot of different lines from the traditional really beat-in lines on the trails, you know, because you have all the ground clearance under the car and you have nothing on the bottom to hold you up, like a drive shaft or a rear axle housing or a front axle housing or an oil pan. You know, you can literally just put anything you want under the car and just keep driving. So that's a really huge advantage that this car has.
On race day, the race is comprised of 3 loops that total 212 miles. And 2 cars take off every 30 seconds from the order that we qualified in on Tuesday. So what we're after is you got to make some decisions right away so that you're not eating dust. You've got to decide, am I going to let this guy go ahead of me and follow him and let him make a mistake, or get ahead of him, because you'll catch the next cars ahead of you pretty quickly, or at least they're dust.
I mean, you can have a car that does 100, 110 miles an hour through a whoop section, but at the end of the day, to be able to finish a race like Hammers, you can't be driving like that all day long, you know? Just because your car can go that fast doesn't mean you should.
You've got to, on that first lap, really focus on not damaging the car, not getting a flat, not doing something that will slow you down or prevent you from finishing the rest of the race.
You gotta learn when to back it off a little, you know? There's a safe pace that you can drive a car at to finish that race. This car will go 95, 100 miles an hour through some pretty good sized whoops, like you're driving down the highway. So it's pretty ridiculous. I'm probably not gonna drive that way on race day, just because, like we just talked about, you know, there's a lot of risks involved with that extra 10 or 15 miles an hour on race day. So you just gotta drive at a safe pace.
I'm just looking to let the race come to me. I'm gonna run my race at the speed I know the vehicle can go all day long, and let everybody who's braking, flatting, whatever, out of the race, and then we just get to the finish.
The course is gonna be tough this year. I know the course is gonna be tough. I mean, we watched the live feed last night of the KOH pre-show. It's gonna be hard. It's 212 miles. He added 4 new rock trails, like Spooners and Outer Limits. Those are on both laps now. It's just gonna be brutal, you know? It's gonna be really hard on the car. You can literally be driving your perfect race and something completely out of your power can take you out. That every single year is something I always worry about.
So my goal for this KOH is to finish the race within time, right? So there's a 10 o'clock cutoff, and a lot of people don't finish. In fact, the statistics are 50% of the cars are out by mile 50. The good news is I've raced this race many times. I know what it takes to finish, and that's a huge advantage. I know it may not seem like it, but it's a huge advantage to getting this thing to the end. So to make it race legal, we had to add a bunch of tubes into the cage for side protection. That's part of the rules. Some of those tubes also include adding gussets. The next thing was window nets. We also needed to add a bladder type fuel cell, and we had to add some additional fire extinguishers. But it was really pretty minimal what we had to do. The Terremoto actually already had most everything kind of race inspired anyways, and like I said, we used it to pre-run, so we were already pretty close to what was all needed. In a vehicle like this, having a co-driver is going to be absolutely key. So Nick Repanich is going to be my co-driver, buddy for many, many years, and he's a wheeling guy too. Engineering background, great guy, about my age, and super excited to go do this. So we're really looking forward. It's going to be a blast.
I feel really good. I feel really good about myself. I feel really, really good about the car. I've literally been working on this car since we started building it. You know, it didn't stop. You know, KOH ended, we had a lot to fix. And I've been working since then through now to get this thing where it needs to be. I
can tell you we're super excited to run this race and show the public what GenRight's all about.